Good morning. What's up, everybody? How we doing today? Welcome to another week. Happy Monday. Good morning.
Yeah, let's go. Monday.
Monday. Good morning, Elena. How are you? She jumps on and says, 1 minute of abs. Be there in a minute.
Well done. What? Oh,
Love it.
abs. I thought you said abs.
Oh, maybe it was ads. It is
No, you
ads.
said
I was,
abs.
I, wa- I thought she was doing an ab exercise. I flipped that D.
Let's go. Let's go abs.
Yeah. Let's
Stick
let's
in
go with
those.
that
Stick
too.
in those abs. Plush.
Thank you, sir. I try. Do my vocal exercises before I jump on.
A chaplain wears ass slaps chaps. The chaplain wears assless chaps. Good
Wow.
blood. Bad blood.
All right. We went from I flipped that D to assless chaps in less than 3 minutes.
This is a good week.
Let's
It's
go.
gonna be a good week, y'all.
We're off to a solid start.
How
So
was
what's
your
up, bud?
weekend?
Oh man, you got it first. My weekend was good. It started off busy and then it was really chill. So, we had a busy Friday with school activities. Bentley did a bubble run. Um, then we had drum lessons, singing lessons, guitar lessons with Bentley in Brooklyn. And then we all, like the whole friend group, like all 17, 18 of us went to a high school football game where Bailey was cheerleading. And then two of the family's little girls that are in Bentley's age, they were cheerleading with her. So we all spent some time at the football game. So it was a good day. Then Saturday was his soccer game and not too much. And then yesterday, my wife and Bailey and Bentley went and saw a Taylor Swift movie. And then they spent some time at the mall for one of Brooklyn's friends' birthdays. She wanted to like do a Build a Bear thing and then go to Olive Garden. That was her birthday.
Nice.
So yeah, it was a good weekend. How was yours?
Slightly similar. We went into Friday pretty. We were pretty gassed. Just not a whole lot of energy to do much else. We had plans for Saturday. Damn it. Hang on.
No worries. I was just asking a question about
So we had plans for Friday night. We had plans for Saturday, and like somewhere Friday, we were like, let's just scrap the calendar. This is like social batteries are dead, physical
yeah.
batteries are dead. We would not bring anything. We would not add to. We would not be bringing our best selves to these events. We had soccer. We had adult soccer Friday. Scored a goal.
Nice.
I did a really awkward, what in my mind looked like a really cool bicycle, but it was probably like this just sideways twist, barely off the ground side kick. Tried way too much, tried way too
Yeah.
hard for what happened. But then another guy, his name's River on our team. He actually did a bicycle, like a real live bicycle,
Showed you how to do it.
scored and totally showed me how to do it. So like Saturday, yeah, soccer day with kids. Really great game with my 12-year-old. Like the one like they've won 20 games in a row.
Okay. Nice.
Great
Oof.
girls play together. Most games not very contested. This is the game where like they were playing the mirror image of themselves. Just it was like physical. I think both teams were struggling a little bit with being challenged as much as they were, but it was just a really good soccer game. And then like towards like the last 10 minutes, we got up by 1. It was like 2-1. With like 1 goal, it was not enough to be comfortable in that type of situation. So like me and Steve, the head coach, he was asked, like, you think we should like pull one back, put one on defense again? And I'm like, no, they're doing okay. I think, I don't know. And as we were discussing what to do, like they scored again. So it was like, we did, you know how there's like certain games where like the coaches, they're kind of like playing chess, right? It's like
Yeah.
the kids are on the field and the coaches, they're like, telling kids where to go and making corrections. This game was largely like the girls owned this. Like they played the game, and it was just a great game of soccer. And then Junie had her first game. She moved teams to a team that that practiced closer to Kira's team during the week, just to make things easier.
Okay.
A little bit older, a little bit smaller, but I'm friends with the coach. He also kind of coaches Kira's team. So like that was a good game, and like a totally different situation. Like Junie is like not one to take on competitive sports. So like me and Kristen, we're very focused on like hoping this is a positive experience, because it's like the threshold for her enjoying this, we both feels like very, very thin, So like I had to like stop myself from like coaching from the sidelines and telling her where to go, because Billy, the other coach, like he knows what he's doing. He's a great guy, awesome coach. So I just had to like let him coach. Stop being a second coach. And like we canceled we were going to hang out with friends for an Oktoberfest event. And then the friend's 50th, I haven't seen in a while, but awesome dude, just didn't have the energy to make it.
Got it. Yeah.
So we kind of scratched that. And then Sunday, Taylor Swift movie for the big girls and mom. And then me and Hazel, the little one, we did. She has a cast, and I was like, what do you want to do for date day? You want to go to the bike park? Oh no, you have a cast on. How about the pool? Nope, you got a cast on. So we ended up going to the arcade instead.
Nice.
And then lunch, and it was good. It was a really nice like daddy-daughter date. And again, I think I mentioned this last week. It put me in the mindset of like trying to recall all the things I did with my 2 other girls at 6. And it's very fuzzy. It's like the amount of things that I specifically remember is very low, but I mean, I was there, I was present, but it's very hard to like pick out certain days or certain events or certain tuck-ins or whatever,
No,
do you feel that way?
I definitely do, because I think about it all the time, and more along the lines right now of how far along, or like, where Bentley might be lacking in certain areas. Like, at 6 years old, knowing what he can and can't do. And then like I think to myself, like, what were my girls doing at that age? Like I kind of don't remember. But yeah, same thing. Like I can't remember the specific things we used to do all the time. It's a little different, like with having such an age gap. When you get those one-on-one moments, it's easier. But when you have 2 or when you have 3, like it definitely becomes harder, like to find something that all 3 want to do when there's 10 years in between them. This is pretty cool. I knew he was doing this, and so that's awesome. Congratulations. First VeeFriends related event, and taking his kids to Comic-Con. That's gonna be awesome.
Yeah. Nice.
What are your kids into, MP? Like, would they dress up for anything? Like, how did that go? I'm really curious.
Yeah. Today's reading is a good reading for MP, I think. We'll get into that in a second. Just one more thing on that like the memory of like your kid's childhood. My mom, she'll sometimes kind of get in. We'll talk about like childhood, and she always says she kind of has a hard time like remembering childhood, remembering specific events. And she did work a lot. Like she was out of the home growing up. And like as in these maybe like the past few months, it's like I'm also finding I don't remember I don't remember these specific events. And I think she was like she would always like kind of beat down on herself a little because uh, she feels like she wasn't there for her childhood. She was there.
Oh,
She was just
yeah.
there less. But like the whole thing about remembering specific events, now that I'm there, I feel like it's just a normal thing. It's like unless you write it down. I mean, we have tons of pictures. It's like
Yeah.
we have cell phones and all that to take photos, so we have all those. And as soon as I see the photo, it's like, oh yeah, I remember that. But yeah, it's just all just this one big conglomeration of like presence and all the feels that come with it.
Well, it's a
So
lot. Like I mean, we're doing so much,
yeah,
and like just in general, even back when we were getting raised, our parents were, working, having friendships, having, if you have a house, you got household chores, fixes, whatever, then doing all the kids stuff. And then, yeah, everything's kind of intensified now. People have side hustles, second side hustles. Um, there's just a lot going on. Hard to remember everything. We always say like core memory, like, when something really big happens, but even that, I kind of like wonder, like, is it actually, is it actually going to happen? Like, is it actually going to be something that becomes a core memory? Because you never know what's going to actually stick until you get 10, 20 years down the road. Um, but yeah, the
yeah,
memory is a weird thing. It's a tricky
yeah.
thing.
Those little things they always come back to me in a certain combination of a responsible bedtime, maybe some sleep aids, or you know, nightly uh, imbibing for whatever chemical combination is in my head at that particular time.
Hmm.
I'll get like a really, really vivid, specific memory from years ago that I
Oh,
fall asleep to.
interesting.
And that's a cool experience. I wish I could like write those down or capture those a bit more, but they'll come back. They always come back.
One day with when you get a Neuralink implant.
Yeah, we can record all these. And then this morning, woke up for leg day, and as I was putting on my shoes, I was like, "No, I got shit to do." So I've actually been here. I drank a pre-workout, did not have a Celsius responsibly,
Oh,
had
that's
some
good.
snacks, and then just got some stuff done. Speaking of side hustles, I got some good. I have like a month and a half of like portraits to do, which is
Oh, nice. Is that from the live painting, or is that from
yeah,
what would you say that's from?
a little bit of momentum, a little bit of word of mouth. So
Good stuff.
that's been going well. And speaking of side hustles, Dom, let's bring up our sponsor, Habit 24, developed by Ryan Turner himself. If you're somebody who struggles with tracking your habits and trying to just get on that train of eating right and making sure that you are well hydrated and vitamined up for the day, Habit 24 is your answer.
Good morning, Brian. Well, I have a funny, real quick soccer story. So I think, so I don't know what game we're on. Maybe game five. I think there's two more games left in the season. We've never won a game. We don't really keep score at this age, but our team is just a bunch of bumbling fools. And like my son is one of the biggest ones. Like literally, he's almost like the second biggest kid on the team.
Yeah.
Um, but it cracks me up watching them play. I love this age of play for sure because they're learning, but it's also like still a little humorous. It's not as serious. But we were playing against another serious team that where there was a kid like probably one of the smallest kids I've ever seen. In fact, when they lined up, I was like, man, this team is really tiny. Um, but this kid had such great control. It really amazed me. And so they were just dominating. And we scored one goal, and the way we scored it was we had kicked the ball into their goal. The goalie saved it. The goalie was throwing it out, and he threw it directly into one of our girls' faces, just
Oh,
right threw the ball right into her face. And like in a split second, it hits her face and just goes right in the goal. And I guess it didn't count, like, whatever, like, it
yeah.
did or it didn't. I don't know the exact rules on that. I don't think that counts, but we gave it to her because obviously she got hit in the face with a ball. Um, but it was pretty comical. Like
Yeah. Like those. Um, how old is Bentley? 8, 10,
6.
6.
Yeah.
You will. Well, when we roll up to our games, there's like other ages playing, and sometimes I'll see like the young boys playing, like between 6 and 10, and it's funny thinking about that age and like the girls going through that age playing, where it's like they're playing because maybe largely because their parents signed them up.
Mhm.
You can tell like some kids are like, this isn't really my thing, but I'll play. And there's always like a group of kids that's really into it. And it's very entertaining seeing how those different personalities kind of come out on the field, even as far as like how like they dress for a game. Like there's some kids who dress, they dress to the T. They got the shorts, they got the socks, they got everything. Other boys are wearing like, extra large jersey, super long shorts. They may have cleats, they may not. Um, it's funny. It's just a good kid
Yeah.
experience to reflect upon. But yeah, both games are great. Junie and Kira did awesome. Positive day.
Alright, man. What do you think of the rating?
Um,
Little Theodore Roosevelt.
Theodore Roosevelt. Yeah, I always enjoy learning more about Theodore Roosevelt. Would you like to break down today's reading for us, Dom? Or would you like me to?
Um,
Or just make it up. That's fine too.
yeah.
It's the internet.
I
Point.
this one's basically about let's say, the resilience, the the ability to adapt of the human being, but in this instance, it's more along the lines of a child turning into a teenager. Basically, Theodore Roosevelt, uh, when he was younger, he had like horrible asthma. Like he would wake up in the middle of the night and have to be rushed to the hospital, kind of like near death experience kind of stuff. And but he was a smart, brilliant young man. And so his dad told him at one point, like, you have the mind, but you don't have the body, and your mind isn't going to be able to go very far without your body. Like that's just the way, you know body can't go far without the mind can't go far without the body. So you got to make the body. And like thankfully it's possible to make the body, it's possible to make the mind. And so he did it. He sat there, got gym equipment, worked out every day, and built his body and got rid of his asthma. And
Can you do that?
became
Can you get
what?
rid of asthma?
I think you can grow out of it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't know that. So you
Yeah,
had
I
it.
think you can get out of it. Hmm. I mean, at this point, or I think technology is getting up there. Where, I have a friend whose son was one of those kids who's like allergic to everything, and
Mhm.
he's been in the training program for years now. And he went from like the kid who, like, if he saw a peanut, he'd have to go to the hospital, and now he can just eat peanut butter. So, yeah, you can get rid of asthma. I
Yeah.
don't know that you can get rid of everything, but
Peanut allergies. Can we bring peanut butter back to schools yet, people, please?
they're working on it. But unfortunately, like, all the technology and all the stuff is like very strenuous and therefore very expensive. So it's not like everybody can put their kids through this regimen.
Um, yeah, I enjoyed this, especially going into our 40s, and it seems like we have our physical health in our, in our top three, as far as, keeping ourselves healthy for our kids and us and all the things we do. Um, when I was in eighth grade, I broke my leg. This is my little connection here. I broke it playing soccer, had to get an external fixator. Uh, like I had wires and bars on the outside of my leg. And for my rehab, didn't really know what rehab was. But eventually my dad was one day, he's like, well, you got to get moving. You're off of crutches and you're healed. So he started me on this habit of, we lived on the bottom of a hill,
Hmm.
Long Valley, New Jersey, Nessingwood Drive, if anybody happens to be driving through the area. And every day he would tell me, before I started wanting to, he would tell me to start, just run up the hill, and he would follow me in the car if I had to get a ride.
Yeah.
And I remember the first day, it was like, I think I was running in jeans, and I was just like this, really bad, like, just, the 12-year-old jog, like no 12-year-old jogs unless they're doing cross country. But I remember doing that for a while until I stopped limping. So in my head, that scene in Rocky 4, where he's running in Russia and those two guys have to follow him just to keep an eye on him.
Okay.
There was Rocky 4. It was very much like that. It wasn't the winter. I wasn't running through snow or carrying logs or anything, but my dad would follow me very slowly up the hill in his car. And I remember being self-conscious, like, people are going to think that I'm like being stalked or something.
Yeah.
So I started running faster, thinking that rehabbing 12-year-old me in jeans could run faster than my dad in a car. So
All right.
that was the first time that like a habit or rehabilitation came into my head. And then back when I was like 28, 30, I messed my ankle up really bad again in soccer. And that came to mind. That's when if you guys remember the Vivo Barefoots, the whole toe shoe
Hmm.
fad came in. I drank that Kool-Aid hard, and
Yummy.
my rehab was jogging with the barefoot shoes, which
But
made my
not.
ankles like,
You have your wife or your friend drive behind you though?
no, this was just me. But
Like, Dad, I'm gonna need you to come out here for a little bit.
can you follow me like a creep, please?
Please bring your old 1987 Buick though.
Yeah. I think that he might have had that from my grandparents. But that was my second rehab, where I had to, come back from zero. And then
Mhm.
today it starts with like August and September were very much like getting back, putting your face into the fire hose of school and sports and whatnot. Didn't really get to the gym or get any workouts in. And again, felt like I was starting at zero when I went back. So that just kind of built
Yeah.
into this habit of, you can always start again. So good reading. That's kind of my spiel on that.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing to show our kids, teach them, let them learn from us. Um, like I've said many times, like trying to let them know more about what we're going through and how we're going through it and what we've been through. Like I think a lot of times they look at us and it just seems because we're so confident or because they're only listening 25% of the time that like we just have it all, figured out and together. But it's like, no, this is like the 45th time I've restarted a workout plan or a diet plan.
Mm.
And I'm 42. So, and of course I wasn't doing it the first 10 years. So sometimes you just restart, a couple times a year. And you get, or you take a pause, you take a little break and you got to figure it out. It's, as I think a lot of times that's what happens with kids is they go into something, it's not working for them, or it doesn't feel the way they think it should feel. Um, and they get down on themselves, or they think they, aren't good enough or not doing it right. And it really is just about putting in the work, practice, patience, just kind of like learning all those lessons that are incredibly difficult to learn, you know?
Have you, since Bailey's in high school, it's probably like probably seen you the most. Has she ever like asked you any questions about any of that in any capacity, just like about what you're doing or what your mindset is or any of that?
No, not really, but I try to tell her, like I try to bring it up when I find the opportunity. So I'm getting, let's say, a little better at doing that. I'm not the greatest, but when we do have conversations and I can somehow relate something in my life to hers, um, I'm definitely trying to open up a little bit more and kind of, let her know that it's not just, like basically everybody struggles, right? Like, I think that's kind of been my thing, is going into it a little bit more, like, instead of just telling her, my advice on what she should do and coming at her like a parent and, giving her instructions or advice. I start it with, yeah, back when I was your age or even last year, like I really struggled with this, and this, and it was really hard for a little while. And I remember it, causing this problem or that problem. Yeah.
Do you think she is receptive to it, or do you think it comes across as one of those like back when I was your age type stories?
Yeah. I don't know. It's hard to tell.
Yeah, it is.
'Cause our conversations are few and far between, and we're definitely uh, people of few words, like especially together, her and I. Um, she's yeah. I don't. It's weird. She's a lot like me in certain ways, and she's a lot like her mother. I think she's got. I think she has a lot of the good stuff in both of us, which I like.
Yeah,
The other two, I'm a little bit more worried about.
all the good things, less of the bad things.
Yeah.
In my head, those talks, they're in my head. They're they're like a Mr. Miyagi story, Karate Kid, like, these really
Yeah.
important lessons, or you're teaching him how to do something, or like Obi-Wan Kenobi and Luke Skywalker type situation. In their head, I'm sure we're just like some older person yapping.
Yeah. Gosh, shut up, Dad.
Oh
Ugh.
no, let me do it myself.
Like you see them like looking at you, but then like their eyes really want to go back to their phone or whatever that it was that they were doing when you walked in. So they're always doing something.
Yep.
Yeah.
Um,
Come on, Dad.
yeah. All right. I have a hard stop. I have to go put a crock pot recipe on for dinner tonight.
No problem, dude. Let's get out of here. Thank you. Everybody have a great day.
Yeah. Good to
Appreciate
see
you
you.
guys for coming in. We will see you tomorrow. Hard
Same
stop.
time, same place.
See you, buddy.